great meeting everyone. Anything else before we hop?
No, I don't think so. I'll send the recap for everybody.
Perfect.
Let's see. And I'll book the room for next week. Oh, and I'll loop in facilities about the thermostat thing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh, I should probably also check in on Marcus. He seemed a little off today. Oh, and it's Deb's birthday Thursday, so I'll grab a card for everybody, get everybody's signature on it. I'll smooth things over with, accounting about that incident.
Mm-hmm. I just love this team so much. And you know why? It just runs itself.
Right, itself.
Self-managing. Put that in the recap.
All right, I'll put it in the recap.
Boop. Hey. Bye.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sanity Penning Podcast. I'm Holly and this is Amber. And today we have a special guest with us. This is Rochelle.
Hello.
Hello. And we are super excited to have her here with us today as we talk about emotional labor at work. So just to set the scene here for everybody, we all know that there are things that don't end up written down in our job descriptions. Maybe you're the peacekeeper on the team, or maybe everybody turns to you because, you're just really good with people. But those are usually things that don't come with a bump in pay, and they definitely drain your energy. And I know this ties into a lot of the topics that we've already covered on the podcast, like burnout and resenteeism, but curious for you too, what is your experience with dealing with the weight of emotional labor in the workplace?
Okay. Well, I have it from a different perspective because I am a business owner. I created the business. I manage my business. And so, and my business is set up differently than any other kind of, hopefully, I hope more businesses take on the philosophy and understanding that I have in place. I know some are actually starting to do that, which is very promising, where we actually take emotion, we take people seriously. And so the emotional labor, unfortunately, does fall a lot on me. And so it's all those unspoken pieces, like you said, that you don't recognize. That's that labor that's very heavy. It's hard. And so trying to balance that in a facility, plus also I work full time in the facility as well. And so trying to handle all that is very exhausting. And so learning how to manage it is very, very important.
I think for me, it's I didn't recognize. And when I look back, I can now understand in clearer terms and put a phrasing and term around why I felt so exhausted at the end of the day. And so being able to go, hearing phrases constantly of oh, you're just so good at this and you're just so good at that. And you're and so it's people would naturally see me in certain ways that were reflective of that emotional labor. And it's I can't put my finger on it. I can't describe what it is about you that makes this so I see you in this role, or I see you doing these types of things. And now I feel like I maybe understand it a little better through this lens, that it's how much that I was taking care of to make it easy for people to do the things that they needed to do. But what it did is it completely drained me. And that led to a lot of burnout, right? Because it wasn't just doing the task and then being able to go home.
No, we were good at our jobs. I could do my job without really needing to think about it. But I was so I wouldn't say they were easy tasks, but were just really efficient. But I was still exhausted because I spent 10 hours babysitting 100 million different personalities throughout the day. And that part is what is so exhausting. I can do a spreadsheet, no big deal, but needing to deal with Tom, who's in a bad mood today, and I have to smooth things over with this customer who had a really awful experience and, try to mend bridges there. It's, anyway, thinking about it kind of makes me sweat a little bit. Sorry.
Right. Or just what other people set as boundaries, and sometimes honoring other people's boundaries is a form of emotional labor, to know that, say, Barbara only accepts communication that looks like this. Otherwise, she won't read the email. Right. And Billy over here, right, will only do this, or really needs it to look like this. Otherwise, you're not going to get the thing that you need done. So having to adapt and be what that other person needs, because because of the specifications and or boundaries that they've set.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's bad, but it adds to that labor of like, I can't just send out a communication. I have to now think through who I'm talking to, what past experience that I've had before with that individual, what I know has worked, and then make something kind of catered, to like that need, in the hopes that it will work, right? And that you get the thing that you need, because they might just be having a bad day. And like you said, like it's not consistent. And so being flexible and adaptable is also a version of that emotional labor and load, and being like,
And then the added bonus of with my field, for people who don't know, I own a wellness center. I'm very well known as a restorative and rehab massage therapist. I have a whole team. I have 8 members of my team. I have my team members that I have to consider of their emotional needs, because we do take those things very seriously, and what they're comfortable with and what they're not comfortable with each scenario. And then their schedules on top of that, and their communication skills and understanding, and who they want to go and work on and what they're comfortable working on. Or even their space, being comfortable in the space. But then on top of that, we also have our clients, which we have, each one of us usually has anywhere from 3 to 5 clients each day. And so we have to then take into consideration the client's emotional understanding. Each client, when they walk through that door, when I'm looking at them, I am analyzing and understanding their body, what their kinesiology is telling me, their emotional stance, how they're feeling. I'm feeling all their emotions and understanding what they're needing in that moment, because what we do is it's just not physical. It's also emotional understanding and listening and respect. And then where's the boundary and where's not the boundary
Right.
for, okay, this is getting into life coach and therapist territory,
Right.
or, okay, I can be a listening ear for this person. And then having your own personal recount and what to say and what not to say. It's a very constantly demanding situation in our field. But I want to give it up for anything, because it's never the same.
And I could see, I see in that setting where that's not just beneficial, but it's sort of like necessary to be able to do that, to do your job effectively. I'll say, just from like a corporate perspective, I think one of the things that Amber and I wouldn't say we disagreed on, but where I sort of took a different direction is I saw it as theft. I saw it as companies are profiting off of my people skills, but not paying me for it. They're calling it being a team player just to avoid financial compensation. And I get that's maybe a little spicy. But I saw it very differently. And again, I would have different standards for an average employee in a corporate setting than I would, say, a supervisor or manager, because I take a different stance on that as well. But Amber, I know you had a different approach for this, so I want to give you a chance to share your piece of it too.
Well, I mean, I 100%, I can absolutely see it as the theft, right? But I didn't, I guess, see it that strongly, because there wasn't I am going back to the systems that allow this behavior to happen. So I kind of see it as the larger wheel in this, cog that's moving, that it's actually something that's with the system that we don't have in our society, where we are recognizing that this is labor and that this is work. And when we ignore it, and then it just looks like it's invisible stuff that makes this person awesome and amazing. I think the hairs on the back of my neck rise up, right? Your hackles raise when I'm why are we not addressing this? Why are we not talking about it? Why is this not considered work? Because yes, it is theft, but for it to be theft, it also has to be recognized. And so I go back to the beginning with it, and I'm no, I want to start campaigning for this to actually be considered work, and considered a skill set that people have, that it's not being talked about. And big surprise, right? The numbers actually suggest that the majority of the population, right, who take on this emotional labor and who just naturally have it, are women and minorities, because minorities use it as a way to be seen and recognized, that have them stand out, and women just take it on because of our natural caretaking, nurturing roles, societal norms. And so that also causes, the feminist in me to be rah! right? So of course it's not being recognized because we're women, right? And so not to go down that road, but it is a high proportion of the population who suffer from this, what feels like a burden, because we can't let it go. We can't articulate it. Like when somebody is like, how can I help you? And I'm like, how can I help you to think through all the things that I'm thinking about? Because it's not task. It's not like I need you to do something. It's like, I need you to think about things. And how do you articulate that with somebody else when asking for help? So it gets frustrating because you just go, I don't even know how to ask for help when it comes to this kind of burden or this weight that I feel, because it's not like I can just tell somebody. I can't delegate this person to do the thinking.
To add another deeper level into this, think of it also in this way: instead of the person taking everything on and the people that are taking it on, why isn't there an environment that helps and maintains a place for people to actually naturally use their emotional, empathetic, their creative aspects, where they feel like they can actually just naturally do this? So it's not just on the one person who's like so overcome and overpowered to just naturally take it on and do it. I honestly wish, because I'm on the other aspect where I have a place where I encourage people to do that, and they don't know how to do it because they've been in all the other environments where that was not allowed. It was discouraged. And so how can we encourage that to continue going forward?
And not to be my typical Holly self, but I 100%, and I think that would be a leader's job. I see that as something leaders should cultivate within their teams, because people is part of their work, right? Taking care of people, that's kind of part of their job, coaching employees, de-escalating conflict, maintaining team morale, all of those things. That's a supervisor job. I agree. I don't think enough is done to say this is safe for you to do these things, and not just safe, but I'm not going to take advantage of it, right? Because Amber's so good at this, because Rochelle's so good at this, I'm going to lean heavily on them to be the glue that's holding us all together. No, you've crossed a line at that point. But I also think you're right that just in general terms, I think we've been told for so long, work doesn't care about your feelings, leave your feelings at home. When you're at work, you're supposed to be this person, and when you leave, you can be this other person. So a lot of us have developed dual personalities almost to just get through the day. And then we go home and then we try to take off that mask, which is it's hard to do. It's not an immediate thing. It takes a lot to unwind from the day, come down and just sort of settle. And guess what? In a couple hours, you got to go back and do it all again. Yeah, it's not healthy. I don't think we've set it up in a way, a lot of work needs to go into to be able to change these systems and these environments. Definitely not something that we could see overnight, but I think in my perspective, it starts with supervisors, because they're in charge of what their team culture is.
And this topic and kind of where we're headed with it also makes me think of the episode that we did on wellness at work, and that just the you set up a program for it. It comes with a whole bunch of buzzwords, right? And it's just another way for people to ignore that this is something to work on, because a lot of those wellness at work programs are not as effective as they think that they are. And so they just are I'm just going to throw this out there that people can do this thing, but we're not going to really actually see if it's making a difference or an effort. So it's just checking the box off for their employee survey to say that this service or this is available, right, at your job kind of thing. And so I have a real big heartburn with wellness at work programs, because of how how I saw them just completely change what wellness can be with individuals. And so it really kind of puts that bad taste in our mouth, especially if it's not offering usefulness, right? It's not just awareness. It is how are we actually helping, and not helping one individual, helping all of us, right? And so for some, they may watch this podcast and be like, I didn't even know that could have been considered work, right? Is all of the because thinking is work. It's not just the doing, right? And so in anything, the prepping, the planning, the stuff that you're doing in your head, to get yourself ready for the task. And then also while you're doing all of that and getting ready for the task, and then helping somebody else do their task, and then help their, like, how do I do it right? And kind of being their help and support. Yeah. It can get really, really heavy, and we don't address or talk about that. And I would be really hesitant to call it a wellness at work program, just because I just don't think it would be effective, considering what we've talked about with other wellness at work programs. So,
like, you might not even realize that you're saying certain things. Like, I didn't realize that I actually said certain things automatically. Subconscious aspects that we don't even realize, or helping people that we don't even realize. I mean, I've been a helper my entire life, like bend over backwards, take the shirt off my back kind of helper. And I am a healer. I do help people for a living. However, it's when that becomes your default, that you're depleting your own portion, that's the danger. And unfortunately, these programs in this corporate environment, they don't get to that aspect. They don't get to the heart of everything. And sometimes that's in the environment you are around, the resources you have available, things like that makes a difference. And so me creating an environment that I hope can be sustainable and continue going forward, just improving and helping to help people grow, is the most beneficial thing I can do in my life to help these people.
Right. It's so funny you say that. Like, that's like people who like apologize all the time, like me, like, sorry, like, sorry.
I do the same thing.
And I use that because it's like, that was part of like a customer service job that I had. Like, you were always apologizing for, I'm so sorry, this thing was wrong. But it's like I say that because I see, again, there's this difference between being nice and being empathetic, right? Because like being nice is, it's an act. It's a performance. Like, you're pretending, right? So it's like, you get this like mean customer and you're reading a prompt, like an approved prompt or whatever. And you're like, I'm so sorry that happened. Let me see what I can do to resolve that for you. It's being polite and being respectful, but it doesn't require you to understand somebody else's experience. Smiling and, like I said, being courteous and stuff, like, that's a valid expectation of any job, I would think. Like, it's part of being just a professional. But I do think, again, there's this line, because, again, the moment where, like, for you, when your empathy is something that a company depends on to keep the team functioning, that's no longer just kindness. Like, that's your labor. That took all day to do. You know what I mean? So, I see that. Again, there's not enough to reward and recognize these things. Again, it's all just sort of a expectation. Duties, like other duties is assigned, I think is what you said, Amber. And I'm like, really grates on my nerves.
Right? Because the other duties as assigned, like, who's assigning it? Who's assigning it? And it could be coming from yourself. It could be coming from your fellow coworkers, right? And working alongside them. And it could be coming from not just your supervisor, but other supervisors, because working with other teams, or, and so the other duties as assigned is a joke, because it just means that you're hired into this position, and we can pretty much give you anything.
It is. And we don't have to financially compensate you at all.
There's this, you should be grateful for being like that you have this job. And we're going to, in a lot of ways, sometimes abuse that gratitude.
I remember when I was in retail, I mean, it was a million years ago, but when I was in retail, I was very good at what I did. Everyone came to me, everyone talked to me. And I mean, the same with corporate. I tried to fix and help everybody. And I burnt myself out so much. I was burning the candle at all ends, and I wasn't being recognized. I was going to the herbal and gem shops, and I'm like, please, I need something to ground me. I need something to help me just deal with all the emotional burden from everybody. So we actually are having a charity fundraiser, because mental health is very, very important. And I am a huge believer in helping your community and supporting your community. Shocker. And so we are actually doing a charity fundraiser August 16th from 12 to 4 o'clock. All of the proceeds will be going to NAMI, New Hampshire, a national mental health resource center. And it is really, really important. It's really, really great. I actually have I know people who work for NAMI, and I know they are really amazing individuals. They get very involved in community. We also will be accepting food donations for the local food bank, animal donations, so like food and blankets and towels for the local animal rescue, and kid donations. So the kid donations is like diapers, formula. So we will be actually offering services. I'm even going to be providing sessions, which is unheard of at these events. And then we're also going to have massage, acupuncture, energy work, body work. We're going to have sound bowl healing, an event for sound bowl healing, animal Reiki, possibly a drum circle, possibly live bands as well, and also people can just donate in general. So it will be a really, really good cause to help support mental health awareness for the local community. In my healing journey, actually taking care of my mental health and recognizing that I pretty much how I was raised and what I was formed to believe growing up is completely not correct. And so finding that strength and security in myself going forward allowed me then to be like, oh, I can take care of my physical body. I can connect to my spiritual self more. I can connect to my physical self more. And for me, that was my connection, was mental health. And so mental health is very important to me as well.
There was something that you said earlier that I feel like was a really, really wonderful coaching moment as also like a connection to the mental health conversation, is that there is a reason why this feels so good to us for those who like to be in those helper roles, right? So there's something that you are either feeling needed, indispensable, you're the good one, you're the one that people come to. Like there's a good feeling. So I don't want to like say that like having people come to you is a bad thing. And it's only bad when it gets too much
Abuse.
and you're not, and you're not letting it go. And so I feel like a little bit of a challenge would be to have that inner dialogue and conversation with yourself about recognizing what you're getting from being this person and carrying this load. And are you getting what it's worth? So meaning it's costing you something. And are you breaking even, or are you ahead? Are you profiting from this? And so being able to have that conversation of, man, this feels so good to be this for this person. And I wouldn't trade it for anything, right? Like, because I'm winning, right? And so if you feel that way, that's wonderful. But if you don't, then it's time to kind of look, if it starts to feel like a burden, you come home and you just feel so exhausted and don't have a way of recharging and being that and continuing to do that for everyone to the point of burnout. I think that's what we're kind of calling out in this, and that it's it will help your mental health and prevent from burnout, right? If you can have that conversation with yourself to say, are you profiting, right? Or what are you getting from it? And are you like, this is the extra challenge, right? For those of us who've been in therapy for a while, like, are you programmed to feel this way? Meaning that, so if you feel needed and you feel indispensable and it makes you feel good, where did that come from? Were you taught that, or do you actually feel good, right? Like, and so again, that's a deeper layer, and I think that at the coaching level layer, it is just kind of like recognizing what you are gaining from taking that on for other people. Well, this has been so fun. Thank you so much for being here, Rochelle. And it's really nice to get in that third perspective. And so this has been really wonderful, and I think it really ties into this, like, we're all just trying to do what we can. And this is why this is Sanity Pending podcast, right? Like, we are right in that in between. And so we thank you so much for being our guest, Rochelle. I am Amber, and this is Holly. And you can find us, and like, we're going to be sharing links for the New Hampshire event and ways that you can kind of like help support this event. If you're local to the area, it's going to be on August 16th. So again, check that out. We're going to share all that information available. You can also find us on Substack, where we will also kind of share this information in our notes. And can advertise there as well for this event, and being sure that you're kind of taking care of yourself here. And so, and then looky, we have a merch shop, and I am wearing a piece of our merch today. And so you can check it out to get your very own notebooks and mugs and ways that you can help support the podcast by checking out our merch shop at sanitypendingpodcast.com. We're also on Reddit, so check us out on our subreddit for the break room, which we will also advertise and get this information out. And so there's lots of places that you can find us and connect with us and let us know what you are doing if you are being burdened by this emotional load, invisible labor type topic, and what your experiences are. We'd love to hear from you. And so, and never forget that if you have not throat punched somebody this week, it's been a great week. Bye.